So we got our Dbrand skin for our 14-inch M3 MacBook Pro here. I really like Dbrand, they're very durable. I had my last one on my MacBook Pro M1 for about 2 years. I love the skin on there, however, they don't make that one anymore. That one was like a dragon skin. It had like dragon scales on it. And the reason I like these is because they weren't smooth. They actually had a texture to it. And that's what I liked, for it not to be slippery in your hand. They don't sell that one anymore. They didn't really have many to choose from that I know for sure that are textured. But this one was, I believe, a black honeycomb. That's what I ended up going with. And that's what we'll be installing on this today. You don't need much for these. A scissor, some rubbing alcohol. This is not whoosh. I have 99% rubbing alcohol in here. A rag, a little card, and that's really it. I know some people use a blow dryer on the ends. I may go ahead and grab one of those. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I didn't need it with my last one. I know in their tips of installing, basically they installed the whole thing. And on the bottom, I don't know. Let's take a look. Maybe because the bottom has more curves on the side, may need the heat to shrink it down. But we'll go ahead and grab that if we end up needing it. Let's go ahead and open up this package. This is their staple, their little comic book type of cover on here. I remember being the same way 2 years ago. I never put skins on my phones, only my laptops. I don't know, a lot of people love the skins on their phones. I like mine naked. Recently, I have been using a case on mine. Let's go ahead and open this, pull it out. The other thing too is when I purchased my skins 2 years ago, for my old one, you were allowed to just pick basically the top and the bottom. However, they used to sell the skin that goes over your trackpad and your palm rests and the sides and everything. I don't use those. I like the smooth feeling. I don't really scratch this up. Maybe if you were wearing metal watch bands or something. I have the Apple Watch, but I use the braided loops, so I don't worry about that too much. But that being said, now you have to buy the whole package. So you're stuck paying a little more. I wish they didn't do that because, again, I'm buying something I don't need or I'm not going to use. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep moving forward. Curious to see what this looks like in person too. And double check, nothing else in there. Like one piece of styrofoam. So they put it in these little plastic, almost like plastic folders. Let's see. So I guess if you flip them over, there you go. Okay. So let's pull everything out of the top section for now. I don't think you have to pull it back out, but okay. So here's a plastic. I'm going to set that aside and we'll move the laptop out of the way for the moment so we can focus on the skin. Here's the skin. It does still have a texture to it. I like that. All right. So they gave us one little Dbrand microfiber cloth. Take that out. It's very small, very thin, not bad. And this is just a cardboard to keep it straight in there. I'll set that aside. I won't take the cardboard out of the other one. We know what that looks like. So there's the bottom, very straightforward. And it looks like you got the trackpad and the rest of the parts that go around the keyboard there, which I'm probably not going to use this. So I'll put this back inside the case. The honeycomb looks nice. Let's see. Let's grab another camera. Oh, we got a camera. We get in a little closer and look at this. So you could see this honeycomb effect. You could see there's different shades of colors in there. It almost reminds me of snakeskin or, you know, those type of like leather boots, alligator boots or something. You have multiple different colors in there. Here's the Apple logo. We'll do close-ups too after we get this installed. But yeah, there's a quick view there. So I'll jump back to the overhead. We'll put the bottom aside for now, and we'll focus on the top first. The trick with the top, so first things first, right? So we're going to do this in steps. We're not going to worry about cleaning the rest of it off. Maybe we'll clean it all. So we want to make sure this is really clean. I like my own little microfibers. I'm just going to spray it straight on here. This is 99%, so it's going to dry really fast. That flash point is really low. I really am going to try to scrub this, try to get around all the edges. And the trick is, after you do this too, you don't want to touch it too much, right? You don't need the oil from your hands getting on there. Having two microfibers too to hold it when you're rubbing so you're not touching it with your other hand. So the big trick here is we're going to take the cover, we're going to peel it back, and then we're going to cut it a little bit. So the reason for this is I know a lot of people just peel the side back a little and try to lay it, but the most important part here is lining up the Apple logos, right? So if we peel it back and cut it off, then we could leave this space open and we could start by placing it right over the logo there. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to have my scissor here. They're ready. I am going to peel this back, trying not to touch it too much, just past that Apple logo. And then I am going to cut this, trying to make a straight cut. Okay, I guess my cut wasn't that straight, but you get the idea. So now you want to put this back down on the opposite side. Okay. And just because I was messing around here for a second, I'm going to wipe this down one more time. Try not to block the camera too much here. I'm going to try to pull it this way maybe a little. Okay, so again, the trick is here. As you can see, we can now see through, we could see through that. So the trick here is to, now you could guide it and know, and I know I'm probably blocking the camera here a bit. Sorry about that. All right. I could nail that little cutout from the Apple logo, and now I can nail that little cutout of the top of the Apple. And now I'm just slowly pushing it around the logo. So I nailed that. So now I'm gonna grab my cloth here a little bit, push that down, and now I'm gonna come into one side, fold it back, grab it, and I'm gonna start peeling it back. And again, the trick here, you wanna not leave any air bubbles in there. So since we lined up that logo, we're pretty dead on straight. As long as we keep pulling the right way, we should be pretty dead on. All right. I'm going to grab my rag and I'm going to push that one direction. I'm not going back and forth. I'm just pushing out. And that is dead on. Another thing I like doing, a lot of people don't mention it, and we'll see this in a little bit. I know it used to be a tip back in the day, but these edges end up feeling a little sharp. So what you want to do is you get something like a credit card or something, piece of plastic, and you rub around the edges. Basically, you're filing down those sharp edges because I could feel it. It does feel sharp right now. And I'm sure that'll wear away over time, but you also don't want it to peel back and get caught on things. So rubbing that out helps. Okay, going back, we're going to grab the peel here, peeling back and right off. Boom. So before I learned that trick years ago, these were a little bit more difficult to nail that center. But like you could see with that one trick, it was boom. Really dead simple to do that. Now I throw papers away. I go ahead and use that credit card. And basically, I'm holding it on an angle like that and just rubbing it. So it's like you're filing down that corner just a little bit, which is what I want. I'm not doing the corners yet. I'm just going to do the sides first a little bit. You don't have to go crazy, but it does make it a lot cleaner. You're not rubbing the metal. You are just rubbing this that straight corner around there. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I'll do a couple of things around the corners. I'm also feeling it with my fingers a little bit. Yeah, this credit card thing is from iFixit. I have a bunch of them. This did not come with the kit. Okay, so I'm still feeling around the edges, making sure I don't feel anything, getting those last couple of corners. And this is not something you have to do, but I find it to be more cleaner and less chance of the stuff peeling off. It's not going to get caught on something, and probably can't see it, but I have a bunch of black pieces, sanded off on this table. Yeah, and it feels so much better. Okay, I'm also going to take a cloth, paper towels. Since I scraped all that stuff off, I also want to clean my workspace because we're going to have to wipe down the bottom, and I don't want to get any other dirt on anything. So keeping a clean area is a lot. Okay, so we're going to flip it down. We're going to face it so we could read the bottom logo. Once again, we're going to clean the bottom. I think I'm going to, since the bottom gets a little more dirty, I'm going to wipe it down quick with the paper towel too. You don't really want to spray inside the fan areas, so be careful. Not that I think with this 99% rubbing alcohol is really going to get to anything. I'm not worried about touching it too much right now versus trying to make sure, since it's the bottom, you might get the rubber feet are a little more dirtier. Everything around the rubber feet. So I'll wipe it off good with this, and then I'll come back with our microfiber again. That trick that we did for the cover, we don't do that for the bottom. So the bottom, we're going to start from one side and then peel to the other side. The nice thing with the bottom is we already have cutouts for the circles and the screw holes. So you already have something to line up while it's going. Whereas the other side is just one big rectangle. So it's a little harder to line up nicely. Okay, so that's good. So let's get this over. Let's make sure we have our orientation, right? This would be backwards. It needs to go on this way, right? Yeah. So we see all that's lined up. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to peel back one side. We're going to go from right to left. Oh, 1 minute. Am I peeling back? Double checking, right? Again, trying not to touch the bottom too much. I like getting it a little past the first set of holes and literally putting a crease in this paper. If you don't put the crease, sometimes it flips back on you when you're trying to put it down. Okay, so let's move the laptop down again. I'll try not to get in the way, but we will see. So again, you're lining up the circle and you have screw holes on the bottom. So if you nail those, it should be easy. This side you need to worry a little more about bubbles. The reason being is this side I feel is there's more curved edges. And because there's more curved edges, there's more bubbles. So I like to get this side. If we nailed all the holes perfect, I like to really rub down this one side and make sure you're rubbing down nicely around the feet, right? Okay, so that's looking good. So now we're just gonna we're gonna go a little bit at a time, and we are gonna pause at every screw hole and make sure we're getting the screw holes lined up. So that one is good, that one is good. And this is when I will start rubbing out some of the bubbles. So this next one is going to be a far run. I'm trying not to stretch it. This is plastic. You can end up stretching it if you're pulling too tight, so try not to do that so much. Again, so now we're getting to our next holes. We're looking to make sure they line up good. That one lined up perfectly. This one's off a little. Okay, got it. Again, I got those screw holes. So now I'm gonna keep pushing. Okay, we're getting to the feet. Feet are lining up pretty good. And it's gonna be like this last pull off. We're gonna try to grab a corner without trying to touch it too much on the bottom. So this corner needs to be pulled up a little more. Again, stretches a little bit. Okay, I think I nailed that. This side looked like it fell exactly at a good spot. So there we go. Rub it down really good. And then I'm going to do that credit card trick again on this side as well. I could feel the edges. When you do that little bit of sanding stuff, you end up not feeling it. So let's get rid of this garbage and we'll dive back in here. And again, you're just trying to do the edge. You're not trying to touch the metal or anything. I'm going to leave the corners again for last. Keep in mind there's different edges on the bottom at different points, so don't rub like crazy. Running my finger across some of it, making sure. You could adjust your angle a little more if you still feel. Okay, one last edge. This is the long edge. Yeah, I'll say when I removed my D-skin after the 2 years, I was shocked to find how protective it worked. Okay, so the edges are gone. Good. I'm going to go around the corners here a bit. So the corners look like they stuck down pretty good. The instructions say to go at it at this stage with a hairdryer, but I don't think I need to. The hairdryer basically shrinks the corners and makes it stick more. But I think if you're not touching it so much, you're not picking it up, you're not messing with it so much, then I think you're good. Again, I'm feeling my finger across them. They don't need to be perfect. They will wear on their own, but the key here to me that it's not going to catch on anything in the next day or two while it's still drying. That's what I don't want. Now, after some time, it's not going to grab anything. Again, you're doing this on an angle. You're not rubbing against the metal. Let me point that out again. With all that done, we're going to clean up one more time. I know this is a lot of fun for you guys. It's a live, like we always do without lives. We break them down into a shorter video. We'll take all this cleaning and stuff out. We also turn them into little shorts so you can catch them on the go. I just rubbing alcohol on my rag here this time and do a quick rub down of the edges. Laptop over, get another rub down of the edges. See it on the table. Awesome. All right, we're done here. Let's get another closer look here. Okay, has edges. You're not going to scratch it. Apple logo, it's pretty dead on, right? That looks pretty nice. It's finding a hard time focusing close on this because of how black it is. I think I'm going to be pretty happy with it. It's a bit different than the Dragon scales that I was using for 2 years. But this feels nice. What could I say? Yeah, I don't know if I would like the skins on the inside. I'll grab it again so you guys could take a look at it. Here, my shaky hand here. Okay, so there it is. If we went ahead and did that, so you got the top piece that goes across the top like that, and then you got the piece on the bottom. I don't know about my hand rubbing against this. Since it's textured, I'm not sure if I would like it. It is black now, or they're space gray or space black. I don't know, it's not black. You can see the difference between the screen, the gray, and the black keys are really black. So there's a difference. But it's not silver. So I think it goes nicely with this because there's different shades in here too. So there's shades in here of that black that looks exactly like that. If we put that really close, let's try to get some kind of angle here that's in focus. You can see some of those shades do match the new space gray black. So I think it goes very well. All right, guys, that was it for this install here. Hope you guys found it useful. Hit that subscribe button so you could catch our other lives and other videos, our tips, tricks, tutorials, news. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and what skins are you liking? Did you get another Dbrand skin? Is it textured like this one? Do you like it? I do not like the smooth ones. They feel slippery. I think the whole idea is getting texture in your hand so it doesn't feel slippery. We did an unboxing and first look of this 14-inch M3 MacBook Pro. They have the anti-fingerprinting on it. It's very helpful. It's a step in the right direction, but it's still not perfect, right? Will it ever be? Who knows? With that said, no fingerprints here. But yeah, again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will catch you next time.